Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And last time we discussed the beautiful pastime of Krishna blessing Sudama Brahman. We heard how very beautifully Krishna reciprocated with his friend Sudama. He gave him such respect, such love, such affection that Sudama was completely satisfied. He didn't even, ask whatever he had come for, because he was sent by his wife to ask something, some wealth. But Sudama, he was absorbed in just remembering how Lord is so very great and that he is showing mercy to such a person like me. Who am I? Kwaham daridra papiyan, kwa Krishna Sriniketana, Brahma bandhuti smaham bahubhyam parirambita. Oh, who am I? I am a fallen Brahmana. I am so poor, sinful, but Krishna, he embraced me. Bahubhyam parirambitah. He made me sit on the same throne on which he would sit with his wife, goddess of fortune. So in this way, when he returned, remembering the glories of Krishna, he saw his entire place got transformed into a heavenly abode. It was full of palaces, and the palaces were very, very opulent. So he understood, oh, it is the mercy of the Lord. So that is what we discussed so far. Today we'll be discussing the 82nd chapter. Krishna and Balram meet the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So Shukdev Goswami, he continues the story, tells that once there was a great eclipse, solar eclipse. It was so great. It was very powerful eclipse, as if the end of Brahma's day has come. So the verse begins with Atha and Ekada, Athaikada. So that shows that this is a completely new topic, not in line with chronological sequence. So Shukdev Goswami is not speaking in chronology. So Sanatana Goswami explains that this pastime of Krishna meeting the inhabitants of Vrindavan at Kurukshetra happened after the visit of Lord Balram to Vrindavan and before Rajasuya Yagya, because it is described there that in this solar eclipse, so many Kaurava warriors were also there. Bhishma, Dhritarashtra, Yudhishthir, Bhima, and Drona, and all the Pandavas, they were there. So, and they were meeting in friendship. So that means the enmity was not so much pronounced that time. And we know that at the Rajasuya Yagya, Duryodhana's jealousy, it became so much inflamed that he wanted to destroy the Pandavas. He did so many things. He arranged a gambling match. He challenged Yudhishthir Maharaj for gambling, and he made them go to forest. So naturally, it could not have happened after Rajasuya. So therefore, this event happened after Balramji went to Vrindavan. He returned back. So after that, and before the Rajasuya Yagya, so this pastime is happening. So Shukdev Goswami continues that they all knew, all the residents of Hastinapur and all the kings of the world, they knew in advance that there is a solar eclipse which is going to happen. So therefore, many people, they went to a place called Samanta Panchak. So very, very auspicious place. Prabhupada, so in the commentary, in the purport, Hridayanand Maharaj writes that Vedic astronomers of past 5,000 years old, they also had all the knowledge of astrology. They could also predict the solar eclipse, just like the modern astronomers, modern people, modern science, they can predict when the solar eclipse and lunar eclipse, they are going to happen. So Vedic science was no less advanced. It was a very, very refined and evolved subject, very refined science. But unfortunately, in due course of time, it was destroyed. So generally, solar eclipse and lunar eclipse, they are considered inauspicious. But these inauspicious times are very, very favorable for performing spiritual activities, just like Ekadashi. Ekadashi is considered to be not so auspicious from the mundane material karmakand point of view. But this Ekadashi is very, very conducive for devotional principles, for practicing bhakti. That is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. If you add Krishna to any of the inauspicious things of the world, it becomes auspicious. You know, that is the power of Krishna. Krishna is Shuddham and Apapa Vidham. Krishna is supremely pure and he can purify everything. So therefore, so many of the people, when we may be suffering with our previous life's karmic reaction, but when we come to Krishna consciousness, Rupa Goswami describes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that bhakti can destroy our sinful reactions also. Aprarabdha phalam papam kutam bijam phalonmukham kramenaiva praliyate Vishnu bhakti ratatmana. Anybody who takes shelter of Krishna consciousness by the practice of devotional service, he becomes completely purified. All the storehouse of reactions, sinful reactions, they get completely destroyed. That's the power of bhakti. So Shukdeva Goswami describes what is this Samanta Panchak. So we have heard that when Parshuram, his father was killed, Jamadagni, his father was killed by Kartivirya Arjun. To take revenge, Parshuram, he went on to destroy the Kshatriyas all over the world. All those Kshatriyas who were not following the religious principles, anybody who was slightly deviating, Parshuram was destroying everyone. And he destroyed 21 times Kshatriyas over entire earth. And the blood, all these Kshatriyas, so many innumerable Kshatriyas were killed, and their blood created a lake. And that lake is Samanta Panchak. And of course, Parshuram is never tainted because he is Supreme Lord. He was never affected by the karmic reaction. He was doing according to the principles only. But just to show an example for people in general, he performed so many sacrifices. Yadiyadacharati sreshta tatta deve tarojana. Whatever great people do, common people follow. So therefore, Parshuram, he performed sacrifices at this place called Shamanta Panchak. Many of the people came in this Kurukshetra area during the solar eclipse. Vrishnis were there, Pradyumna, Samba, Gada, and there were other kings, other ministers like Akrura, Vasudeva, Ahuka. So many other kings were there. They had come because they wanted to be free from all the sinful activities. Everybody came. Aniruddha, he stayed in Dwarka to protect Dwarka, and he stayed along with Kritavarma and some other guards to protect Dwarka. Apart from that, everybody had come to this place to take bath, and they were not alone. These Yadavas, they had come with big army, all the majesty, with all the armies, so chariots, horses, elephants, cavalry, and all these infantrymen, all these soldiers, they were very effulgent. They were dressed very beautifully, royal cloths, carrying all the powerful weapons, and they were looking as if devatas. Very, very beautiful and powerful. So and all these warriors, all these Kshatriyas, they reached Samanta Panchak. They took bath there, they observed fast. So whenever a person goes to a holy place, the general tradition is he should fast on the day one and take bath in the holy places. But it is a very interesting pastime which comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. when all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they went to Jagannath Puri to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Every year they would go. So one time when they entered Jagannath Puri, the king of Jagannath Puri, Pratap Rudra Maharaj, he was looking all these Vaishnavas coming. And when they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu invited all of them to take prasad. So Pratap Rudra Maharaj is getting confused. Tirthera Vidhan Hoy Shauro Uposhan. The principle of a holy place is Shaura Uposhan. You should shave your hair and do fast. But I am seeing that all these Vaishnavas, they are coming and they are neither shaving, neither fasting. Right away, they are going to take prasad. What is happening here? So Gopinath Acharya, Sarvam Bhattacharya, he is telling that, the Vedas and the scriptures, indirectly they are telling this. But that Supreme Lord is directly standing in front as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he's telling to eat. तो इत छाड़ी कौन करे विशेषे श्री हस्ते प्रभु करे परिवेशन इत छाड़ी कौन लाभ इत लाभ छाड़ी कौन करे uposhan. On top of that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is himself serving with his lotus hands. Who will give up this opportunity and do fasting? So that is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. So all the Yadavas, when they reached, they took bath and they gave charity, they fasted, they gave charity to the Brahmanas, and they fed all the Brahmanas with nice prasad, nice bhoga, and they prayed. All these Vrishnis, Yadavas, they were devotees of the Lord. They prayed that may we be fixed in devotion to the Lord. That is the only prayer of a devotee. Whatever charity, whatever yagya, tapa, dana, vrata, mudras, tantra, whatever a devotee does, only one thing he has in his mind: I want to develop devotion towards the Lord. That is the only purpose. Otherwise, what is the use of all these things? If we are not developing devotion to the Lord, then everything is useless. It is all Shrama Eva Kevalam. If we are not developing love for Krishna, if we are not conscious, then it is all waste. Some said there Hari Toshanam. If the Lord is not pleased, it is Shrama Eva Kevalam. Shukdev Goswami is praying in the second canto that Shristasya Suktasya Chabuddhi Dattayo Avichuto Arthak Kavibhur Nirupito Yaduttama Shlok Gunanuvarnanam. Whatever skills, scholarship, whatever we have, if it is not there to please the Lord, it is all waste. So therefore, after they served the Brahmanas, they took bath and then they worshipped the Lord. Then they took breakfast and then they were sitting leisurely under the tree shades in Kurukshetra. So that is a very beautiful thing which was happening there. So with the permission of Krishna, they were doing all this. So Yadavas, when they were there, they saw that all the kings had come, all their old friends and those who were apparent enemies, everybody had come to take bath in this Samanta Panchak during Kurukshetra, during the solar eclipse, because solar eclipse is inauspicious and everybody wants to get purified. So there were people, kings from Matsya, there were people from Vidarbha, all the Kurus were there, Kaushal Desh was there, Srinjay, Kambhoj, Andhaka, Vrishnis, everybody was there. Hundreds of kings were there assembled at this place to get the advantage of taking bath. And along with that, all the Brajvasis were also there. All the cowherd men headed by Nanda Maharaj and all the other Nanda, Upananda, Sunanda, all the other Brajvasis, they were there. along with their entire family. They had come with only one intention. They wanted to see the Supreme Lord. They were in separation from Krishna since so many years now, and they were suffering unbearable anxiety. So they had come to have darshan of the Lord. So when all these kings, they met their old friends with great joy, they embraced each other and started asking about each other's welfare. And when they met each other, actually they experienced the symptoms of ecstasy. Hairs were standing on end, they were crying tears, they were not able to speak. All the women, they glanced at each other, they embraced each other, and they inquired about each other's welfare. So then, as all these things happening, Kunti Maharani, she was also there. So she met all her relatives, including Supreme Lord. She met Krishna also. And when she met Krishna, she forgot all the sorrow. And she said, she's telling to Vasudev. Vasudev was her brother. So she's telling, my brother, my dear brother, I feel that my desires have been completely frustrated because, although you are such a saintly personality, you also forgot me when calamities came. So many problems came in our life. We just escaped, from a fire. Then Bhima was poisoned, and then we had to suffer so much. Although you are so saintly, but you forgot us. Actually, she's not blaming Vasudev. She's telling, actually, it is my bad fortune. You are not responsible. It is my bad fortune. Surido gyataya putra bhratara pitaravapi nanusmaranti swajanam yasya daivam madakshinam. She's telling, oh my brother, family, friends, Surida, Gyataya, Putra, family members, even children, even brothers, even parents, they also forget if the providence is not in favor. They also forgot their near and dear ones. So therefore, Sridhar Swami tells that Kunti Maharani, she's not blaming Vasudeva. She is such a humble, gentle, devoted lady. She's telling, oh, it is my own bad fortune. Oh, why I should blame you? That's what she's telling. So Vasudev, he's now, speaking back. He's clarifying the situation. He's telling, Amba masman anu asuyeta daiva kridana kannaran ishasya hi vashe loko kurute karyathe thava. So he's telling, oh my sister Amba, in a very loving way of calling Amba, oh mother. So Amba means mother. So he's telling, oh my dear sister or mother, please do not be angry with us. Ma asman asuya, please do not be angry. Because Daiva Kridanakan Naran. Everyone in this world, we are under the control of superior powers. We are ordinary men. Ishasya hi vashe loko. Everything in this world is under the control of the Supreme Lord. Person cannot act according to his own will. He is controlled. Everybody is controlled by time factor. That's what Bhishma Dev is telling to Yudhishthir Maharaj. He's telling, so many calamities came in your life, O Pandavas, O Yudhishthir Maharaj, but still you survived. So many problems came. Actually, you're not supposed to even live. So many problems came. But because Vipra Dharma Achyuta Ashraya, because you had taken shelter of Brahmanas, Dharma, and Krishna, that's why you're saved. You know why all these things happen to you? Sarvam kalakritam manye bhavatam chayada priyam sapalo yad vashe loko vayoriva ghanavali. Oh Yudhishthira Maharaj, everything in this world is happening by the time factor. Sarvam kalakritam sapalo yad vashe loko. all the directors of the universe are also under the control of this time factor. What is this time factor? That Supreme Lord Krishna is not your cousin. Yanmannase matuleyam surin mitran priyattamam akaro sachiva dutam. He's not your friend, he's not your cousin, he's the Supreme Lord standing in front. He is the personified time factor. So therefore, Ishasya hi vashe loko, everything in this world is happening by the will of the Lord. Not even a blade of grass moves without the will of the Lord. So therefore, now he is giving some clarification. So many times we have to clarify things. Although there may be such thick loving relationship, but better to clarify the things rather than rather than spoiling our relationship because of some miscommunication. Although these are great devotees, but still Vasudeva is clarifying his situation. I was thinking, oh, it happens. You expect some of your friends or relatives to do some favor and he's not there for you. And you start thinking, oh, why he disappeared at that very critical moment. That's what Kunti Maharani, although she's not blaming, she's blaming her own bad fortune. Still Vasudeva is clarifying. He's telling that, oh sister, we were so much harassed by Kamsa. We fled, all of us, we fled in all the various directions. And just by the will of providence, now we have come together. Just like the straws, they are separated in the gush of the water, gush of the river flow. The straws are separated and then they come together. Maevam mamadhamasyapi syate vachut darshana riyamana kalanadya kvachittarati kaschana. By the will of the Lord, somehow people come together. We are drowning in the ocean of this material existence. Somehow, by the mercy of the Lord, we can get devotional service. Naikatra priya samvasa suridam chitra karmanam oghena vyuhamananam plavanam srotashoyatha. In this world, however thick our relationship may be with our relatives, but we cannot stay long. Death will separate everybody. So therefore, Vasudeva is telling, oh, by providence, we have now come together. He's telling now, Jiva Goswami tells in detail. Vasudeva is telling, from our young days, we all Yadus were afflicted by fear because of this Kamsa. It was so very cruel. And later he made allies with all the demons like Keshi, Arishta, Trinavarth, and all the powerful demons, Putana, and we became more and more fearful. And then Kamsa, when he heard that omen, that voice from the sky, that eighth son of Devaki will kill you, he started afflicting us even more. And then Vasudeva, when he started giving his sons, starting with Kirtiman, and Kamsa killed all of them. We become more and more disturbed and fearful and afflicted. And then, when Narada spoke to Kamsa, that, all these devatas, they're planning, and your son, the eighth son of Devaki is already born, and Nanda Maharaja's son is that Supreme Lord. All of us, we fled away. And then some of us were imprisoned. Then Vasudeva, took Krishna and Balram to Gokul. And before that, actually, Narad Muni, he informed that now devatas are planning. So don't think that, oh, first child is innocent. No, anybody can be the eighth child. So Kamsa, he imprisoned everybody. Nanda Devaki and Vasudeva were imprisoned. And then Vasudeva, he brought Krishna and Balram to Gokul. That made Kamsa even more, angry, and he started afflicting so many, harassments. And later, we could not go to any place because Jarasandh was also there. And then we came to Dwarka somehow. Now, by the mercy of the Lord, Kamsa is dead. And now we have come by the providence together. So, my sister, everything is happening by the providence. You don't worry. Now, you can see that your sons have also obtained half of the kingdom. They have such a beautiful palace. They are also very nicely established. So, sister, this is all happening by the will of the Lord. So in this way, he's trying to pacify. So Vasudeva and all the other Yadus, when they saw that, oh, so many kings had come, so they all honored all the kings, and they became so very blissful just by greeting their old friends and relatives. All the royalty was present there. Bhishma, Drona, Dhritarashtra, all the sons of Dhritarashtra, the Pandavas were there. Kunti, Sanjay, Vidura, and Kripacharya. Everybody was there. Bhishmaka was also there. Vidur was also there. Then Shukdev Goswami takes the name of so many of the warriors, so many of the kings. Purujit, Kunti Bhoj, Shaibya, everybody was there. And they all had come because they were very, very devoted kings, apart from the sons of Dhritarashtra. Most of them are devoted to Krishna. And they had come with a desire to have darshan of the Lord. And when they saw Krishna and Balram, they were simply amazed to see the beauty of Krishna. That's how Krishna is. He's Sarva Saundarya Sangraham. Lavanya Saram Asamordhvam Ananya Siddham. He's a Lavanya Sar. He's the essence, embodiment of beauty. So in this list, Jarasandh and Shishupal are not mentioned because they knew Krishna is also coming there, and they had natural enmity towards Krishna, enviousness, so they didn't come. Apart from that, everybody was there. All the powerful kings were there. So Krishna and Balram, they very nicely honored everybody, and with great joy, all the kings, they began to praise the Vrishni dynasty. Why? Because Krishna appeared in the Vrishni dynasty. So all the kings, they were glorifying Krishna, glorifying Vrishnis. Aho bhojpate yuyam janna bhajo nrinamiha yat pashyatha sakrit krishnam durdarsham api yoginam. Aho bhojpate, O bhojapati, O kings of Vrishni dynasty, all of you, janma bhajo nrinamiha, you have truly achieved the perfection of human birth. Why? Atha yat pashya atha sakrit. Sakrit means very easily and continuously you are taking darshan of the Supreme Lord Krishna. That Supreme Lord who is so very rare to even have darshan once. Durdarsham api yoginam, even devatas and the yogis and the sages, they are trying to have your darshan since millions of lifetimes. Panthastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo vayo rathapi manaso munipungavana sopyasti yat prapada simnya vichinta tattvai govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Ramaji is praying that the sages and the yogis and the munis, they are doing tapasya, they are not even able to see the tip of the toe. And that Supreme Lord is there with you always. How glorious you are. All of you Vrishnis, you are glorious. So Jiva Goswami tells that actually it was rare for yogis like Kumaras also. They just got to have darshan of the Lord once. And that too, it was such a big, pastime. They just got to have darshan of the Lord once. एक बार दर्शन करने के लिए वैकुंठ गए, इतना बड़ा, disaster. And you Vrishnis, you are getting darshan of the Lord every day. But still, when we heard in the first canto, When Dwarkavasis they saw, they came to know Krishna has come back. They are telling, oh, why are you always traveling? Always you are abroad only. We are not able to have your darshan. Katham vayam nath chiroshite tvai prapanna drishtya khilata जीवे मते सुंदरहास शोभनम apashyamana vadanam manoharam. So they are telling, oh my lord, you are always traveling abroad. How we will maintain our lives if we are not getting chance to have your darshan? How we will maintain our lives? That is a hankering of a pure devotee. So then all the kings they glorify all the yadus also. So they are continuing, they are telling that Supreme Lord who is glorified by the Vedas, they are singing the glories of Krishna only. That water which has washed the feet of Supreme Lord is purifying the entire world. Ganga, Yavai Lasasri Tulasi Vimishra Krishnangri Renum Abhyadikambu Netri Punati Lokan Ubhayatra Shesham, purifying the entire three worlds. And whatever he speaks, that is a scriptural rule. That Supreme Lord, who is glorified by the Vedas, what foot wash of his purifies the entire world, and the words which he speaks is that is also purifying the entire world. And just see, that Supreme Lord is residing in your place, in your home, in your dynasty. Whenever the earth is ravished by all the demonic forces, that Supreme Lord appears to revitalize her. That's why Mother Earth, she got such an association of Krishna. She was the one who got the maximum association of Krishna. Because Krishna was always there walking. In Vrindavan, he didn't even wear slippers. That's why Mother Earth, she was suffering the most. Kava saheta viraham purushottamasya premavalokuruchira smitaval gujalpai स्थैर्यं समानमहरन् मधुमानिनीनां रोमोत्सवं मम यदङ्घ्रिविटङ्किताय Kava sahet viraham. How will I bear the separation from the Supreme Lord? Could control even the temperamental queens like Satyabhama. How will I bear separation from him? So Mother Earth, whenever she is in trouble, Krishna appears to revitalize her. So therefore, they are glorifying the Yadus. That Lord has appeared in your dynasty. Tad-darshana sparsha anupata prajalpa shayya sanashana sayona sapinda bandha yesham grihe niraya vartmani vartatam va swarga pavarga virama swayamasa vishnuhu. They are telling darshana sparsha anupatha prajalpa. You are getting a chance to have your darshan of the Lord directly. You all can touch him, sit with him, eat with him. You are doing everything with Krishna. How fortunate you are. The same description comes about Pandavas also. Shayyashanatana vikyattana bhojanadeshvaikyad vayasya ritavanniti virpralabdha. That's what Arjuna is remembering. When Krishna departed, Arjuna was in intense separation. He's remembering, oh, I'm just remembering how Krishna would speak such lovingly with me. He would sit with me, dine with me, even we would lie, and we would keep talking, lying on one bed, keep talking to each other. So that is the glory of Vrishnis and even the Pandavas. That Supreme Lord, he is there in familial relationship with so many of the Yadus. How fortunate they are. Sapinda Yauna Bandha. Sayona Pinda Bandha. In marriage, marital relationship, he is connected to all of you. So therefore, you all are so very fortunate. Yesham Grihe Niraya Vartamani Vartatam Vaha. Otherwise, the family life, if Krishna is not in the center, family life is a path to hell. That means it entangles one. Niraya Vartatam. Niraya means hell. So if Krishna is not in the center, by default, the default setting of this material world is to drag us down. So unless we keep Krishna in the center, naturally the attraction and attachments of this world will bring us more and more down. Our consciousness will go more and more materialistic. But although you are living in the family life, because Krishna is there with all of you, therefore you are so very fortunate. That same Supreme Lord Vishnu, uh, who is the source of, who is the giver of liberation, he has come in your place, in your family, in your dynasty. How fortunate you are. So in this way, all the kings, they are glorifying. And then Shukdev Goswami continues that Nanda Maharaj, he heard. Nanda Maharaj was also there, all the Brijvasis were there, all the cowherd men were there. When they heard that Krishna and Balram, they had also come, they were so very ecstatic. Immediately they wanted to come and meet Krishna. So Jiva Goswami tells that Nanda Maharaj, he came to Kurukshetra with all the other brothers, Upananda, Sunanda, all the wives, all the Brajvasis. They had come with just one desire. They knew that Krishna must be coming and they wanted to meet Krishna, their beloved. They were in separation. We have heard in great details that when Krishna, he left Vrindavan, none of the Brajvasis, they were getting a courage to go and cook something. Even Nanda and Yashoda, they were in intense separation and lamentation, crying whole day. Their kitchen was full of cobwebs because there was no cooking going on. They had only one desire, to see Krishna again. So when Nanda Maharaj he came to the place where Vasudev and Devaki and all the Yadavas were there, all the Vrishnis, they were delighted because they also had such intense affection for Nanda Maharaj, because they had taken care of Krishna and Balram their whole life for 11 years. So when they saw Nanda Maharaj, it was as if their life, they came back to life. Dead body is coming back to life. They tightly embraced, Vasudev embraced Nand Maharaj and asked about the welfare. He welcomed him, gave nice reception. He recalled, Vasudev started recalling the old days when they were in so much terror because of Kamsa, and how Vasudev, he had to leave his sons under the care of Nanda Maharaj. So Vasudev is remembering all that. Then Krishna and Balram, he saw Nanda and Yashoda. So they ran and embraced Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai, and their voices were choked up. They could not speak anything. Krishna and Balram, they were completely overwhelmed. And actually, they were about to offer their respects and touch their feet, but before they could even bend down and touch, Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj embraced them. It is general etiquette, right? When a son, a respectful child, he meets the parents after a long time, first you should offer obeisances. But Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, they didn't even give the opportunity to Krishna and Balram to bend down. Immediately they embraced them, started crying tears of affection. They were so very overwhelmed just having darshan of their beloved. And then they wanted to talk to Krishna and Balram, and they were so very ecstatic. They offered their respects. Krishna and Balram offered, then first they embraced, but then they offered their respects also. Krishna and Balram offered their respects to Nanda and Yashoda. And Vasudev, he saw that Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, they are so very overwhelmed that they'll faint. So he caught hold of Vasudev. Vasudev caught hold of Nanda Maharaj's hand and brought him to his tent. And some ladies, they caught hold of Yashoda and they brought Krishna, Balram, Yashoda, and Nanda Maharaj to the tent. And then they were sitting there because the Vasudev, he knew that now they are going to faint out of ecstasy. So he made them sit. You sit and talk. Otherwise, if you are standing, you may go into ecstasy and you may faint. So when they came in the tent and they were seated, so Yashoda Mai, she was seeing their children after such a long time. So for Yashoda Mai, Krishna and Balram, although they were very grown up, they were very powerful kings now. But Yashoda Mai, none of these opulence and Aishwarya could cover the Vatsalya of Yashoda. And in fact, Jiva Goswami tells that Krishna, he transformed himself into a 8-year-old boy. And Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, he raised them on their laps and they were shedding such love, such tears of affection. So Krishna, when he was embraced by Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai, they were transformed, and in this way, they were reciprocating. So Rohini and Devaki, they met then Yashoda Mai. And so Devaki, she's reminding Yashoda of the faithful friendship, because Yashoda Mai, she took care of Krishna and Balram, who are the sons of Devaki and Rohini. So what happened after Krishna, Balram and Nanda and Yashoda, they met? So Vasudev, he took Nanda Maharaj out of the tent to meet all the other Vrishnis, Ugrasen, and then Rohini Devi started talking. Rohini and Devaki, they started talking to Yashoda Mai. So Rohini Devi and Devaki, they are telling, who can forget your friendship? Who can forget the love and affection you have shown to all, to your sons, to Krishna and Balram? We can never repay you. So they're telling, although we left you, but you never forgot us. You always kept sending all the gifts. Whenever somebody would come to Mathura, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai, they would send something. Even after Krishna and Balram, they went to Mathura. Nanda and Yashoda, they kept sending so many gifts. And in this way, they are glorifying the selfless nature of Mother Yashoda. And we know, they are telling, Rohini and Devaki, they are telling, we know that now also you have come to this pilgrimage just because you wanted to meet us. Etavadishtipitaro yoyosma pitro sampreenanayo bhyudaya poshana palanani prapyo shaturbhavati pakshmayad hayadvadakshno nyastyavakutra cha bhayo nasatam paraswaha. So they are telling, actually, these boys, Krishna and Balram, they are pointing towards Krishna and Balram, who are still there. These boys, even before they had seen their parents, real parents, you acted as their parents. Adrishta Pitra, they had never seen their parents, and both of you acted as their parents. And you gave all the care, all the affection, all the love. You nourished them, protected them such wonderfully. Oh, good lady, because you protected them, that's why they are so very happy and nourished. You protected these children just like the eyelids protect the eyes. So that is such a great fortune we have. And that's why they were never afraid. So Chakravarti Thakur writes that Krishna and Balram, they had never seen their parents actually for two reasons. Because they were exiled to Braja. Vasudeva brought Krishna to Gokul. They had never seen their parents. And secondly, Chakravarti Thakur is telling, actually Krishna is unborn. How can he see his parents? He's unborn. But Chakravarti Thakur writes a very wonderful background thinking process of Devaki. So what Devaki thought before speaking this verse, very interesting. So she's thinking, actually, because so long these two sons of mine, they were with you, and you had such loving dealings with my sons that they are always thinking of you. Actually, they are also, my sons are also equally involved in loving relationship with you. And now I can see, because when Yashoda Mai, she met Krishna and Balram, she was completely bewildered and ecstatic, and she completely lost the connection with the material external world. So Devaki could see, now I can see that you are behaving like insane. You are behaving like practically you have become blind. Because Yashoda Mai, she was not able to see anything. She was not registering whatever people were speaking. She was just absorbed in speaking with Krishna. Complete samadhi. So Devaki is thinking, okay, I have seen how great your love is. My love is nothing in front of you. So let me bring you back to the reality. So that's why she's telling. Because Devaki, she failed to get any response of Yashoda. So she understood, oh, her love is much, much greater. So let me bring her back to the reality. So she's telling that, my dear Devaki, my dear Yashoda, actually, these are my sons, and you have acted as their parents. Although she spoke all these words, but still nothing happened to Yashoda Mai. She was still absorbed in speaking to Krishna and looking at Krishna. Then Rohini, she told Devaki, oh my dear Devaki, it is impossible now to arouse her from her ecstatic trance. Nothing can happen. We are just crying in wilderness. Nothing will happen. She is completely ecstatic because she has met Krishna, her beloved, since long time. And not only she, her sons are also equally bound in affection. So let's go and talk to Kunti and Draupadi and others. So in this way, they departed. And then Uddhava, he understood that the gopis had also come. And Uddhava had gone to Vrindavan. He had seen the love of the gopis, and he saw that gopis are standing at a distance, just looking at Krishna. So he brought gopis to the private quarters of Krishna. And Krishna and Balram, Nanda, Yashoda Mai, they were there. So Balramji, he saw that at a distant place, which was not so much obvious, all the gopis, they were standing, looking at Krishna, waiting when Krishna will be alone, because their hearts were longing to meet Krishna. So Balramji understood. He also left so that Krishna could meet with the gopis. So Shukdev Goswami says, Gopyascha Krishnam upalabhya chiradabhishtam yad prekshane drishishu pakshma kritam shapanti drigbhirridi kritamalam parirabhya sarva tad bhavama purapinityayujam durapam. So now Gopyascha Krishnam upalabhya. Now gopis were seeing Krishna after long separation. Were always absorbed in Krishna. Yadohane vahanane mathano palepa prenkheng khanar barudito ksanamarjanado gayanti chaina manurakta dhiyo ashrukanthyo Dhanya Vrajasтрiyaurukramachittayana. Whatever these gopis were doing, they were completely absorbed in Krishna while milking the cows, while threshing grains, while swinging, while making the children swing in the swings, move in the swings, and while smearing cow dung everywhere. Whatever they were doing, they were singing the glories of Krishna. So they were always absorbed in Krishna consciousness, intensely remembering Krishna. Now, while gazing at their beloved Krishna, yat prekshane drishishu pakshmakritam shapanti. The gopis in the Gopi Geet, they are condemning Brahmaji. So Shukdev Goswami is telling, now these gopis, with their unblinking eyes, they were gazing at Krishna, because gopis, they would condemn Creator. Jada udikshatam pakshmakridrisha, such foolish Creator Brahma. She has created eyelids. We are not able to see Krishna for a moment. After such a long separation, when they met Krishna, they are seeing Krishna. What they did? They forced Krishna to enter through their eyes into their hearts. Parirabhya, and they embraced him with great satisfaction in their hearts. In this way, tad bhavam, they were completely absorbed in his thoughts. They were absorbed in meditation on Krishna. That Supreme Lord, great mystic yogis, they are hankering to be absorbed in this way. And these gopis, they were naturally absorbed. So when Krishna, he saw gopis have come. So Krishna, he approached the gopis in a secluded place and he started speaking to all the gopis. First of all, he embraced them. He laughed just to, lighten the moment. By his Vibhuti Shakti, he expanded and embraced all the gopis. And he smiled and laughed just to lighten the situation. So the gopis, so Krishna is now telling, oh gopis, such a amusing thing Krishna is telling. Do you remember me? Api smarati na sakhya swanam artha chikirshaya gatam shiraitan shatru pakshashapan chetasa. So Krishna is telling gopis, oh my dear girlfriend, do you still remember me? Because it was for my relatives' sake, I had to leave all of you and I went to Mathura. Do you remember me? So he's telling, actually, I ignored all of you. I went away just to take care of my family members. And then I had to kill Kamsa. And then to console my relatives, I had to stay for some more time. And then I became known as Vasudev's son. And then I had to marry so many of the queens, so many of the princesses. So he's asking, do you remember me still? And hearing such words, gopis, they were becoming so very angry. So they are thinking, you broke your heart, right? Because you are remembering us whole day and night. You are so very, devastated because of remembering us. But we are not like you. We didn't remember you. So out of anger, gopis are thinking like this. Oh, we are happy without you. Why are you asking this? So just because, when Krishna said, oh, do you remember me, gopis, they became so angry and that anger was manifesting on their faces. So expecting all these thoughts and response from the gopis, Krishna says, Api avadhyaya stasman swit akritta gyan vishankaya nunam bhutani bhagavan yunakti viyunakti cha. Oh my dear gopis, do you think I am ungrateful? And are you becoming angry on me? Do you think I forgot you? Actually, I have not done anything. It was not under my control. It is the Supreme Lord's will. Because of him, people, they come together and they get separated. What is my fault? Just like the wind, brings together the masses of clouds and then separates it. Similarly, all the living entities, they come together by the will of the Lord according to their karma, and they get separated. Why are you blaming me? So the gopis, hearing these words, they say, "O most eloquent one, we know that you are that Lord. You cannot, just make a fool of us. You are that supreme Lord who is controlling the entire world." Krishna may tell, "Oh friends, yes, it is true. I am that Lord, but I am dependent on your love. मयि भक्तिर्हि भूतानाम अमृतत्वाय कल्पते दिष्ट्या यदासीन मत्स्नेहो भवतीना मदापनः." So Krishna is telling, I am dependent on your love. Mai bhaktirhi bhutanam amritatvaya kalpate. By rendering loving devotional service unto me, one can attain liberation in this world. Dishtya. But, O gopis, dishtya, by some good fortune, you have developed such intense loving devotion for me. And just by developing this attachment, you have obtained me. So Krishna is telling, and then he says, if you know that I am the Lord, so you should not be having any suffering because of separation from me. I am there everywhere. And you have fallen into separation because you are lacking discrimination. So all the gopis, they are now meeting Krishna, and Krishna is trying to pacify and console all the gopis. So they are telling, so Krishna is telling, do you think I am ungrateful and that I left you, I forgot you? So he's telling, just like the wind brings the masses together, masses of clouds together, and then separates it. It is all happening by the will of the Lord, because by the wind, just like the grasses and the clouds and the cotton, wisps of cotton and the dust particles, they come together and then they get separated. Similarly, we are all coming because of the will of the Lord, and all of you gopis, you are related to me, you are connected to me in such intense devotion. So you have attained perfection of your life. And Krishna is telling, you know that I am the Lord, but your mind is covered by, because of sorrow. You have fallen into sorrow of discrimination, and that's why you are lacking all this understanding. I'll enlighten you. So therefore, Krishna is saying, I am the Lord of the entire world. I am the creator, maintainer, and destroyer. I am the beginning and the end. All the elements, they are coming from me. All the created beings, they are coming from me. And in this way, Krishna, he instructed all the gopis nicely. And the gopis, they were so very pacified. They were free from all the tinge of, false ego, became completely absorbed. And in this way, Shukadeva Goswami ends this chapter by telling, Ahuste chanalinsnabh padarvindam yogeshware riddhi vichintayanagadha bodhai samsara kupa patitottarnavalambam geham jushamapi manasya udiyat sadanah. So therefore he's telling, Shukadeva Goswami is saying that dear Lord, that supreme Lord whose navel is just like a lotus flower, Padarvinda, and all the great Yogeshwar, all the yogis, they are trying to have that darshan and put the meditation of that Supreme Lord in their hearts. That Supreme Lord is worshipped by all the great sages and the yogis. Samsara kupa patitottarnavalambam. That your lotus feet, O my Lord, they are the only shelter for a person who wants to come out of the ocean of material existence. So therefore, we wish that your lotus feet may also be awakened within our hearts. So in this way, the gopis, because when Krishna spoke with all of them, so this last verse is also spoken by the gopis. Actually, Chakravarti Thakur writes that this is sarcasm. Gopis are speaking this out of anger. So they are telling that, oh teacher of philosophical knowledge, you have given us such a wonderful instruction. Because understanding this knowledge will become detached from our house and filth and family. And previously you sent Uddhava. He also gave such wonderful knowledge. But let us tell you something. Whatever this knowledge you are giving us, it is like the scorching sun. And we are like Chakravak birds. We depend on the pleasing moon rays, and your all this tattva and jnana, they are like scorching sun, drying us up. We just want to have you. If you stay with us, if you come back, then we'll be happy. Therefore, they're telling us Vrindavan is your home. Vrindavan is our home. We cannot leave our home, and we know that you will be happy if you come back to Vrindavan, where you can have peacock feather, you can play your flute. That will be your greatest ecstasy. So in that way, the gopis, they are remembering, they are offering their prayers to Krishna. So that is the end of this chapter. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai.